Swallowed Star 480 Star Fragmen. Chapter 480 Star Fragment. Translator, Translation Nation Editor, Translation Nation. Within the control room of the ship, Luo Feng and the rest of the 8 Absolute Beginning members were gathered with Meteorite Emperor along with the other Undyings. We'll begin universe travel immediately. Meteorite Emperor laughed loudly as his voice resounded within the entire control room. Traveling to the Absolute Beginning region is different than traveling to any other normal star fields. Luo Feng and the others were curious. You'll know in a moment. Meteorite Emperor had just ended his speech and a cold mechanic voice resounded throughout the control room. Beginning universe travel, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 3, 2, 1. Immediately the ship shook and within a second it returned back to normal. Travel complete. External simulation. Meteorite Emperor shouted. Immediately the surrounding scenery changed, allowing Luo Feng and the others to see the scenery outside. My God! Luo Feng and the rest of the 8, including the Manca Prince Wuka, were all completely shocked and stared at the simulation. How is it? Meteorite Emperor laughed. It's too unbelievable. Luo Feng looked outside. It was shrouded in thick mist. In the distance there were colorful clouds, and one could even occasionally see large meteorites. It's actually... How is this possible? The 8 were shocked, because engaging in universe travel meant usually passing through space where there was nothing in their path, hence it would normally be very safe. And right now the ship Meteorite Emperor was taking them in was passing through the internal areas of a certain starfield, which looked extremely dangerous. Not right. Wuka shouted. This is the inside of the Absolute Beginning region? Meteorite Emperor smiled. The scales on his face creased. Right, this is already a core district of the Absolute Beginning secret region. Then, what happens if we want to leave the region? Wuka pointed outside. Look at the meteorites outside. There are dust clouds around and there's no space for a ship to even accelerate. To engage in universe travel requires a ship to accelerate to light speed. That's the only way to do it. Luo Feng nodded. Right. Universe travel to the Absolute Beginning region was easy, but what about leaving? You are right. Meteorite Emperor nodded and smiled. The Absolute Beginning has a diameter of about 5 million light-years, which is similar to a star field. In normal space, we can accelerate to light speed. However, a universe secret area is different, as there are special fire flows, cold flows, astral winds, and also cosmic dusts, making the resistance against ships extremely large. It's almost impossible to accelerate to light speed. Meteorite Emperor said. Universe travel had high requirements. One had to accelerate to light speed. And accelerating to light speed, one first had to have very little resistance, and also a long area to accelerate. Just like an airplane runway, these universe ships required a large enough space before it could reach light speed, and this distance was tens of millions of that of a plane. This was usually easy to do in normal space. However, in the secret area, it was almost impossible. Right, within the universe secret regions, it's normally impossible to engage in universe travel. Meteorite Emperor nodded. However, the Absolute Beginning is different. It's been excavated and remodeled. Within this secret region, there are certain territories that have been swept by the Absolute Warriors, making enough space there for a universe ship to accelerate. Luo Feng, Rongjun, Qianshui, Wuka, Ai Chen and the others were shocked. Swept enough to let a universe ship accelerate to light speed. Just how big of a space did they have to clear out? There's no way around it. The absolute beginning region is too huge. If they didn't do so, we would have to fly slowly from the outer perimeter. With the greatest 5 million light-years distance to calculate, we'd have to fly 5 million years. Not traveling straight to the core won't do. Meteorite Emperor laughed. When you return, you will all be given a star map. This is a map of the territories within the entire region. With the help of this map, you'll know how to enter and exit the absolute beginning region. Universe ship, it was flying within the absolute beginning region. I need to send each of you to each of your living quarters. Meteorite Emperor laughed in the control room. It requires about 3 days of time before I can send every single one of you. Luo Feng and the others remained silent. To reach the living quarters for the 8 of them required 3 days of flying in the universe ship? Rongjun, we've arrived at yours. Meteorite Emperor shouted. Simultaneously through the external simulation everyone could clearly see the space outside shrouded in thick heavy mist, and there was a beautiful little continent floating. As they drew closer, that continent got bigger, finally the ship landed on it. The cabin door opened. Go out and take a look. Meteorite Emperor laughed and shouted. Luo Feng and the others excitedly flew out of the ship. As they flew out, they could feel the thick universe energy revolving about them. Luo Feng and the others landed on the ground and looked at the distant endless space. It was shrouded in mist and one could occasionally see cold streams flowing past. There's a continent in this space? It feels too good. How big is this continent? Luo Feng and the others looked around. This floating continent was extremely huge, it was at least beyond what their eyesight could perceive. Rumble. Meteorite Emperor landed on the ground and laughed. This is star fragment 803899092, its diameter is 5,800 kilometers. In the center of this fragment there's a huge mansion. Rongjun, that's your living quarters. Naturally this entire star fragment, from now on will belong to you alone. Rongjun surveyed his surroundings. This continent was lush with vegetation and many forms of plants. Absolute beginning region, the universe energies are incredibly thick. Meteorite Emperor pointed at the mist around them. Look, this mist all around you can form little crystals filled with universe energies. With that, Meteorite Emperor grabbed the air and a large amount of the mist swiftly compressed, forming a large crystal. Universe crystal? Luo Feng, Chen and Rongjun couldn't help but shout out. Right, universe crystal. Meteorite Emperor laughed. The limitless mist, when gathered, will form universe crystals. As the universe energies are too thick, training in the absolute beginning secret region will allow one to feel the ripples of the universe energies clearer. It's extremely beneficial to one's training. Who? From the distance, 10 silhouettes flew over. Your Majesty. 10 armored universe soldiers landed in an orderly fashion. They were led by a sector lord, they all shouted respectfully together. Everybody else up on the ship, we are heading to Wukka's quarters next. Meteorite Emperor shouted. Rongjun, see you later. Rongjun, we'll leave first. Luo Feng and the others waved and entered the ship once again. The ship took off and flew once more. Each of the members were being sent to their own quarters and Luo Feng was the 5th to arrive at his. Star fragment 803898081? Luo Feng muttered while walking on the continent. Its diameter is 6,200 kilometers. According to what Meteorite Emperor said, this star fragment was split by absolute warriors from the Virtual Universe Company, creating many star fragment bases. What thick universe energies! Luo Feng waved his hand to feel the mist. He couldn't help but exclaim. If he wanted universe crystals, he could create it any time he wished. As long as they compressed the mist, they would form crystals. However, to Luo Feng and these core members, even 1 trillion universe dollars was but one mixed element. And to compress and create 1 trillion universe dollars, my God, how many years would that require? Hence it wasn't even worth it. Naturally, if normal citizens from normal planets saw this, they would go crazy. Universe dollars, to the normal folk of the universe, was still a very expensive currency. Luo Feng looked up. In the distance 10 silhouettes flew over. Leading them was a bald old man. It was the leader of Luo Feng's guards, Ao Duo Li Kuwenshan Lai Suo. Your Majesty. The 10 bowed respectfully. Luo Feng smiled. Ao Duo, we finally met in reality. I've been looking forward to this day too. The bald old man smiled. Your Majesty, I'll lead the way. After a while, with the protection of his guards, Luo Feng arrived in an ancient villa. This villa had a length and width of 300 kilometers. There were many constructs within. Such a large construct, to the Virtual Universe Company, was simply too easy to create. Your Majesty. Ao Duo smiled. I'll do the introductions. Who? Following which Ao Duo immediately flew up and Luo Feng followed. The two of them flew tens of thousands of meters above the ground. From this height we can barely see the edge of the star fragment. Luo Feng looked down and surveyed below. Ao Duo only looked ahead. Your Majesty, look that way. Luo Feng glanced and was shocked. In the faraway distance, there was a dark blue planet. Even the extremely thick mist couldn't block its glimmer. That's an extra-large planet. Ao Duo exclaimed. It has a diameter of 1.28 million kilometers. The strange thing is that it's extremely cold. Our star fragment revolves around this ice planet constantly, and there are a total of over 3,000 star fragments that revolve around this ice planet, and almost all of them have absolute beginning members. Luo Feng felt a sense of how unbelievable it was. Diameter of 1.28 million kilometers? It was close to the size of the stars in the solar system. However, it was a huge ice planet, and it glimmered? How peculiar. The Virtual Universe Company ordered a long time ago that before one reaches undying, he is forbidden from entering the ice planet. It's almost certain that any sector lords who enter it will die. Ao Duo exclaimed. An ice planet that glimmers, and also capable of killing sector lords. It's much stronger than a normal star. Universe secret regions, they are indeed mysterious. Many of them don't even follow common knowledge. Luo Feng shook his head. Actually, a place that had such thick universe energies that one could easily form universe crystals, spread throughout the entire starfield. For such a place to exist, nothing weird from it would be shocking. This, Luo Feng surveyed below. Amidst the thick mist, a large star fragment floated. Is my future training spot. Let's go down. So, Luo Feng and Ao Duo rushed downwards.